This is Pineview Drive for the PlayStation 4, released by Viz Games in 2014. Actually, there are 3 games on my particular disc: Pineview Drive, Joe's Diner, and Nightfall. And I'm guessing all these games are pretty similar. I think I paid $20 or $30 for this hard copy off Amazon, and I think they're actually much cheaper to buy independently on Steam. This is a low-budget title, it seems, and it honestly has all the trappings of a lower-budget game. Now I'm being forthright here. I played this game, or at least I wandered around in this game for 8 to 10 hours of real time, and I'm totally ready to put it away for a while. I'm just frustrated with it. First, I guess we have the plot. The game is about, well, something. Honestly, if you put this game in and you started it, I think you'd be like me, and have no idea what's going on, or what you need to do. I guess they want you to read the story online to get started or something like that, because they certainly don't fill you in. And this is a problem for me. I should be able to go into a game and know what it's about from the game itself, not have to go fishing elsewhere for an explanation. I started looking for information online after I was in this for 3 or 4 hours, and I found Pineview described as an atmospheric horror game. My brain translates an atmospheric horror game into something very simple. This means, we made a scary looking environment and we put in some scary sounds. That's an atmospheric horror game, and that's pretty much all you're going to get here. At least, all that I've run into. We get scary sounds in an old house. No other characters have appeared in this game yet, and I've not died once. I see no actual danger. Apparently, there's a health meter at the top left of the screen, but I don't know why. I haven't even been hurt. Yes, we have an interesting, creepy mansion. And yes, there are noises that are designed to scare you, but honestly, if I kept any game really quiet and then cranked up the volume for a split second and made a sound, it would certainly make me jump. My wife was in the same room with me while I was playing this at one point, and one of the recurring sounds that keeps popping up on the screen, she thought it sounded like a toilet flush. It's not supposed to be a toilet. Out of the gates, I was not impressed with this game's loading times. Eventually, you load into an initial scene of you in the woods, and I think there's a figure in a white robe or a nightgown. It's 20 seconds of shaky cam footage that's very choppy, and then we get a blank screen, and it says 20 years later, and then the game actually continues to load, and then we start the game. I personally think this is a really overdone trope, and I don't care for it much. Definitely not how it's provided here. I know stories do this from time to time, of course. You start with the scene, and then they jump dramatically in time. But honestly, the story doesn't begin until 20 years later. So I personally would have tried to start this game at that point and then figured out a better way to get backstory included. If you really wanted a starting scene, you have to give me more than 20 seconds of choppy imagery that I have no possible way of understanding. Now as I play this game, I'm finding myself constantly wondering if that 20 seconds they forced me to watch at the beginning was even slightly necessary. Or at least, do something different. Give me something clear that's an actual introduction. Don't make me piece all of this garbage together as we go. The character I'm playing knows exactly why he's here at this house. He knows what happened 20 years ago. He knows what his interaction was. Why not fill me in on what happened? At least let me know what the character currently knows. Then, of course, we get a big scary house. That's the whole purpose of this. What's the first thing I do personally? Well, I'm going to turn around and run in the opposite direction like a smart person. And in this game, apparently, yes, you can actually escape this game by running the other way. Fastest game I ever beat, I think. Or escaped from, anyway. Honestly, I'm actually kind of impressed they put this little thing in there. They could have easily just made a barrier and said you have to go to the house, but they didn't. They let me get out of the game this way. That's kind of cool. Okay, I load the game again, and now I really start trying. You're in a courtyard. One of the first things I see is what appears to be a forgotten plant texture. It really sticks out for me. But maybe it's just too dark of a texture, and I'm just not seeing it. Obviously, we need to get inside this house, so I do what most people would do in this situation, I think. I'm going to run around the entire perimeter of the house to see where the boundaries are, or if there's anything I need to find outside. During this particular trip, I'm faced with a few oddities. The narrator. First, you. You speak up, and you say, no one has survived here for 30 days, and this is your last chance to figure out what happened. Okay, the game is just reminding me that I have no idea what's going on with this story, and they haven't told me anything at all so far, so I'm irritated. This is the first piece of information I feel the game has given me, and I'm super confused. And you state the fact that no one has survived, which makes me question, what is happening here in this particular world? What are people doing trying to survive in a random house in the first place? Why are people coming here? Are they allowed to be here? And he said people, which is plural, multiple people. And by survive, does this mean people have been dying? Did the police show up? Why wasn't this house condemned or bulldozed by the state? How is this house allowed to exist? If there was a house that was killing people, it would hit the news. Is this all just supposed to be their clever way of trying to say, the goal of the game is to survive 30 days? This is not clever. And why 30 days? Why not 32 days? Why not 29 days? There are better ways to explain the goal of a game than something as foolish as an offhanded comment that says nobody has survived for 30 days. That's lame. And of course, why is there a key to the front gate just waiting on the ground outside for you to pick up? Anybody could pick it up and use it. Why are there so many keys just lying around the property at all? So, I'm walking around for a little bit, and the first thing I really focus in on, the first thing I really notice is that this game is in the style of a 1990s computer thriller CD-ROM game, which I would be totally fine with. I would expect limited graphics and oddball storytelling, things that don't always ring true. I would be perfectly fine with it because I played tons of those games. They are what they are. But this is a PlayStation 4 game. I have expectations. The frame rate is low. It's jumpy. It's choppy. In terms of a CD-ROM game from the 90s, yeah, this would be on par for some of them, for the bad ones, but this is a PS4 console. I've seen games on this that are phenomenal. My expectations are naturally higher, so I'm super frustrated to see this. Outside the house, I found some batteries. I assume the batteries are charged and good. I know in real life, these would have been rotten and drained due to exposure in the middle of a yard. Who leaves batteries outside? But whatever. Also, it doesn't let me pick them up, because I don't have a flashlight yet. I hate when I can't do obvious things in a game. It drives me nuts. There's also an axe in a block in the backyard that they don't let you pick up. Here's a suggestion for all the developers out there. Don't put obvious horror game weapons in a horror game if you don't want me to have them. I'm just going to be mad that you teased me, and you want to make me happy. You want me to buy all your games. Don't do that. I wandered for at least an hour outside, and then part of the house inside once I found the key on this stoop, and I've learned a few basic things, the biggest one being the game is dark. It is really dark. The game is too dark, even with the brightness settings turned up, and you'll see that in this video, and believe me, I bumped up the brightness in the game, and I bumped it up in the recording itself. There are light switches to turn on everywhere, which will turn on certain lights in a room, but not others. There are lamps that just don't get turned on, and it barely does anything for your visibility. And there are also candles. They give us the same problem. For the first 3 hours I played this, I had one button to use, the X or the cross button on a PlayStation controller. Your initial tasks. All you do is press this button when you find a key to pick it up. Or matches if you find matches. That's what you pick up, keys and matches. Eventually, through repetition and sheer force of will, I found a flashlight. Now I can press circle to turn on the flashlight, and I can press square to change the batteries. Batteries drain incredibly fast, and they appear to be D batteries based on the image that you see when you find them. I haven't seen a D battery since the early 2000s. Very strange. Batteries drain way too fast. There's also no inventory system, and there's absolutely no way to tell what key goes with what door. Not that I've been able to find. I played this thing for 10 or 12 hours. This brings us to keys. Keys. That's what this game is all about. If there's a plot, I don't know what it is. This game is about keys. You start with, 6 doors in a house that are locked, and you have one key. You have to try every single door until a door unlocks. Now you go inside that room, and hopefully you find another key. Maybe some batteries and matches. That's all you can find at this stage. But you might also find another locked door. Now with that new key, try all the remaining locked doors. Eventually, hopefully, the door unlocks. Then you go inside that room and hopefully find another key. Maybe you find some batteries and matches. Sometimes you find another locked door. Now go and try all the remaining doors that you have with that new key. Now repeat this process over and over again. Back and forth, checking countless doors, searching for keys, matches, batteries. That's all this game feels like to me. Played this for over 10 hours, wandering around, doing this over and over again and getting bored. Do other things happen during this time? Maybe? I think some things might have happened. The repetition is so boring, and it's so dark in this game, and having to run back and forth so much looking for something to do, I think I'm not noticing when some things are supposed to be scaring me. Every now and again your character gasps. You walk into a room and he gasps. So I'm like, oh, I'm looking around to see what I'm gasping at because I didn't experience something visually. Because it's too dark. Or I don't recognize what happened in the room because all I've been trained to do in this game is to look for keys, batteries, and matches. That's it. I think in one room I know furniture might have shifted position from time to time. And once a room had a pile of books in the middle. And then later in the game they weren't there. I wasn't scared, but I'm pretty sure that happened. Once a door disappeared in a room for a minute, and it was obvious. I was so excited, and I found myself actually speaking out loud that finally something happened. Eventually you get to the end of your first day because you found the key, or whatever it was that they programmed to trigger the end of the day. Then the day suddenly goes to the next day, and you wake up, and now there's plenty of light to see things. This is great. I can see the room. You have a beautiful, creepy mansion, and now I can see it. I can appreciate all the visuals you put together for me to appreciate, and I stand up and I walk around, and within 30 seconds, it's dark again, and I can't see squat. So frustrating and unnecessary. The game should have a regular day and night cycle. There's no reason to not have one. This house is worth looking at. I want to see it. Are there any creepy parts in this game? Yeah, sometimes the sounds are creepy, sure. And at one point there is a clown mannequin that definitely falls into the creepy category. And when you run up to him, you can honk his horn, which is something I do every time I see him, because there's nothing else to do. But it's just a frustrating game to keep having to run back and forth in this house for pretty much nothing. Because it's not like they're letting you grab a key and open the door next to it. It's like, you gotta grab a key, and half the time I gotta run it clear across the house to open up a new door. It's so frustrating. I put far too much time into this game, wondering if it was gonna go anywhere. I think I'm at least 30% through the game. I believe there are 30 days to play. I'm on day 12 or 11 or something. But it's just too slow for me. And as a result, I don't care. So I'm putting this game down, and I might never come back to it. I don't know. Right now I need to play something else. I can admit that maybe a few game days away from now, this could always get better. Something could happen. But I somehow doubt it, and that's too far into the game. And I'm not up for that right now. It's really hard to get into a game that was designed to feel like nothing more than a dark scavenger hunt, just to open door after door. I'm going to leave this video with a view of my favorite part of this game so far, which is going to sound petty, but I paid money for this game, and I feel like I have the right to say it. Spelling counts. That's all I have for Pineview Drive for today. Thank you for listening to me ranting over this one, and I hope to see you on another video. I'll give this game some time. Maybe I'll come back to it down the road, I don't know. But if I do, I promise you, it's going to be only out of spite. Thanks again. Take care.